Howdy gamers, old gamer guy here. RoboCop was one of my favorite movies as a kid, but I think as gamers we all know that games made from movies have a very checkered past. So does this game do a good job at portraying an iconic movie from the 1980s? So far, despite a few minor technical difficulties, I would say yes.
You give us 3 minutes, and we give you the world. Good evening. I'm Casey Wong. A military submarine that went missing over 3 years ago has suddenly reappeared in the Baltic Sea. Confused seamen mistakenly opened fire on the last Lapland reservation, killing 12. Thankfully, our homesick sailors are back on U.S. soil. Welcome back, boys. In local news, a new crime wave that is sweeping Detroit has already claimed the lives of 21 police officers.
We start off with a darkly satirical news broadcast, which is right out of the movies. And we also see a couple of character models here. These two characters were actually in the movies, and they look very much like their movie counterparts. You'll see that not all of the character models have that attention to detail. There is a mysterious new crime lord in town that everybody's just calling the new guy. But we also have the more common sort of criminal, such as this gentleman here. I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I think he might be a gang member, and I think they might be taking over the TV station here.
Don't adjust your television sets. Your regularly scheduled program will be back shortly.
Outside, the Detroit police have, of course, arrived, and RoboCop is on the scene, along with his partner, Lewis. She was played by Nancy Allen in the movies, but I don't think Nancy Allen is actually doing the voice here. I think Peter Weller is the only cast member doing their voice from the movie.
Reinforcements have arrived.
I knew you'd say something like that.
Here we see the time-honored video game design choice where the developer splits the player off from their AI helper because RoboCop can just walk through that fire and Lewis cannot. So she's going to seek another route into the building as RoboCop just strolls on in, and we're going to get our first shooting gameplay. And I think it's really fun. But notice in this cutscene, when the camera switches points of view, you can see the graphics popping in when that happens. And that really is the only technical difficulty that I've noticed so far. Just this little graphical glitch that happens. It does not ruin the game, but it is certainly noticeable.
Drop it, scum.
Oh shit! It's RoboCop!
By default, the game is in quality mode, but I am about to switch it to performance mode. I think quality mode is 30 frames per second, and I assume performance mode is 60 frames per second. Hopefully, when I switch to performance mode, that will also improve my performance because, damn, my shooting performance in this early part of the game was terrible. But I think you can see that the game looks pretty good. It doesn't look amazing, but it looks pretty good. There's a lot of gore and dismemberment of the character models, and that is, of course, appropriate for RoboCop. If you have never seen the movie, it is quite violent. Not the best AI I've ever seen, but they are damaging RoboCop. You can see in the lower left-hand corner. But the good news is we are carrying these devices. We have 3 of them, And if I hold the circle button, I can repair some of the damage we've taken. RoboCop's pistol has unlimited ammo, but you can pick up other weapons. I have not really felt the need so far to use them, but I assume eventually they will become important.
Slime bags detected.
We're going to get some more shooting gameplay here, and I want you to notice the amount of destruction going on in the environment as RoboCop just kind of walks forward. He's basically a walking tank. So normally I would use cover in a game like this, but RoboCop just does not need cover. He just calmly walks forward and kills people as he goes. Notice the gore, notice the destruction. You'll also see some other game mechanics as I walk forward here. But I do think all of this action really does capture the feel of the movies and the feel of the character really well. So enjoy. I think clicking R3 activates the night vision, but to be totally honest, I did it by accident right there. Here's a guy wearing some kind of a metal helmet. Other than the weaponry, I think that is the main enemy variant I've seen so far. All of this feels very familiar, of course. If you've ever played a first-person shooter, you get into a battle, and then there is a lull in the action, and you move forward, and then you trigger another battle. So it is somewhat repetitive in that way, just like every other video game that's ever been invented. But I'm liking it, and so we press forward until RoboCop triggers some sort of a trap. And he gets damaged enough that he starts to have audio and visual hallucinations.
Could you get the napkins from the cupboard? Sure thing, Mom. What are we having? It's a surprise. Little man, have you washed your hands? Do I really have to? I wasn't
If you've
playing
never
it
seen the
fair.
movies, RoboCop is a guy named Alex Murphy, who was a police officer who was horrifically injured on the job. And the company, OCP, used the language in his contract to justify bringing him back as RoboCop. And so he retains some memories from his past life, including his wife and his son, and I assume those memories will play a role in the story here. But right now we are breaching into the TV studio. When you breach, the game automatically goes into slow motion. We have some hostages in here, and unfortunately I'm going to fail to save all of the hostages, but I will save a few. And then later on in the game, I will unlock the ability to trigger that slow motion manually.
Hey, no sudden moves, cop! I'm not dying here! Get me another one of those choppers, like the one that took Soot! You hear me?
You work so hard, honey. Why don't you take some leave? We all could use a little break from this reality, don't you think?
RoboCop hallucinates his wife's face onto the hostage, and this freezes him, but Lewis steps in and saves the day. Unfortunately, there are some witnesses here, and it's not like everybody has a cell phone because this is the 1980s, but there is a lady in the background with a video camera.
What does it want? Get it away from me!
I am sorry.
Back at the police station, we get another look at a bunch of character models, and here especially you can tell that some just have a greater attention to detail than others. They don't look bad exactly, but this guy behind the desk looks very, very much like a guy from the movies. So yeah, just varying amounts of detail. But I think overall they did do a really good job with the look of this game, and that includes this area in the police department where they monitor RoboCop. He took a bunch of damage in that mission, so they want to evaluate and run some diagnostics. We also have a representative from the company here in the room, and that's him on the left, and he's the weirdest looking character model I've seen so far. But he is concerned about the PR aspect of what is happening with RoboCop, and he says that some people want to decommission RoboCop, but he's willing, for now anyway, to repair RoboCop and keep going with the program. And that involves these evaluations. So I assume after every mission, I will be returning to this chair or a chair very much like it for a grade. I missed some clues and I let some hostages die, so I got a B, but never mind that. Here we have the skill screen. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail, but I have 2 points to spend in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to spend them on focus, and when I spend the second point, that will give me the ability to manually trigger the slow motion. Unfortunately, you won't see me actually do that in this video, but I do have the ability to do that from this point going forward.
Well, I can already see some unwanted activity in your hippocampus. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Scattered around the police department are a few different little secondary objectives, such as this shooting range. They want to recalibrate RoboCop's targeting computer, I guess. But there are several of these things around where you can help out other officers to do trivial things, not really story-critical things, but it does convey the atmosphere of the police department and show how the officers help each other out. Right here, I'm just helping the guy behind the desk because a line has formed, and so they want me to help resolve some of these situations. So I can hear their problem, and then I can make a decision. And depending on how I resolve the situation, I get a result. So when I resolve this guy's problem, it tells me I upheld the law. And then when I talk to this lady, who is further back in line, when I resolve her situation, it says I served the public trust. So I don't know if these decisions will change the story at all, or if they will affect the evaluations I get at the end of each mission. But I have noticed quite a few of these decision-making situations around the police department and also out in the street. And speaking of out in the street, it's time to get back out there, follow some clues, and when we leave the parking garage, we get Alex Murphy's patented parking garage exit maneuver, which causes sparks to fly, and that is straight out of the movies. Unfortunately, the world itself outside doesn't really look like a living world exactly. It's not full of activity, but it doesn't look bad. And we're going to go into this arcade looking for that guy who broke into the TV station. The world of RoboCop is full of corruption and scummy characters, and this guy is no exception.
Hey! This shit is rigged!
That's a serious accusation, kiddo. Someone might think I would allow such illegal activity in my high-class business, which I do not. I get lost.
Predictably, he is not very cooperative, and he's actually pretty sarcastic, and he tells RoboCop that he needs to come back with a warrant. And a normal cop might lose their temper at this point, and they might just break down that door. But RoboCop is constrained by his program, so we have to actually find some evidence that will justify breaking down that door. So now we get to do a little investigation.
Have you witnessed the owner participating in any criminal activity?
Are you kidding me? Half the things I've seen around here would be enough to put him behind bars for a decade.
Let us hear your statement.
No way, dude. He might be a douchebag, but if you lock him up, this place will get closed down, and where am I supposed to play hooky then?
Children should not skip school. It is important for them to attend every single class.
I stopped listening after should.
Yes, even kids are corrupt in the world of RoboCop. I think the second movie actually had a child drug dealer dealing a drug called Nuke, and that drug is in this game. I'm not sure if it figures into the story, but it has been name dropped into the game. But now it's time to investigate, and the investigation's kind of a mixed bag. I like walking around looking for clues, but this is actually pretty easy. You can just hold L2 to scan various things. So far I found some vomit and a child with bad posture. But here we have a note where some of the gang members are talking about a possible snitch within the gang. And then over here in this filthy toilet, I finally find some information that will justify breaking down that door.
From now on, I promise. I will.
Your body readings suggest substance misuse. Open the door. I have the warrant.
Oopsie. I think I dropped my keys somewhere. You'd have to break down this hardened door if you want to get in.
That will not be a problem.
The kid told us there are drugs in the basement, so of course RoboCop wants to take a look, and that means some more shooting action. But we are approaching the end of my first hour of gameplay, so I guess I should go ahead and start to summarize with my patented vague opinions. I think you can tell I like this game very much. The weak point for me so far is probably the cutscenes. They just seem like they could use a little more polish. They don't look bad exactly. Same thing with the character models. Some of them have more attention to detail than others, but they don't look bad. The voice acting seems pretty good. The story seems pretty good so far, but, you know, I'm only an hour into it, so I can't really say. But I do like this. I like dark humor. I like gore, and this game has lots of it. Right there, I accidentally triggered the slow motion effect. I did not do that on purpose. And I'm going to go ahead and destroy some furniture here for no particular reason, but I hope you have enjoyed this video. Next week there is a strategy game coming out that I'm very interested in, so I'll probably make some videos for that. But for now, as always, thank you very much for watching.
Open the door or you will regret it.